Passion for Freedom, Election, 2016, by Rich Correll. In June of 1990, I traveled eastward across the Hungarian-Romanian border, descending into a very dark world of deep human suffering, unbelievable economic depression and scarcity, and severe political oppression enforced by 40,000 secret police. That heartbreaking memory lives with me to this day and taught me about the real-life consequences of socialism, progressivism, communism. My first reaction was shock, which then turned to a righteous anger against a system that would create such a horror. I wish every American could have seen this to understand the dangers of progressivism to the human condition. I discovered that the Soviets came to Romania, promising them a heaven on earth of equality and justice. But in a short 30 years, they had delivered hell on earth filled with fear and despair. My Romanian friends, after the years of lies and brutality, killings, very reluctantly concluded that the only possible source of this evil could be Satan. I am convinced that today's progressive policies travel down this same road to hell on earth. I am equally convinced that the election of Hillary Clinton, a self-proclaimed progressive who her husband's White House called the Bolshevik, the name for communist, will speed us to an American hell on earth in the same way that progressive policies have created our urban ghettos of hopelessness. Today, our American industrial and urban ghettos look just like Romania looked in 1990. The Hillary Road inevitably leads to horrible consequences, many of which are already visible. This is because the state, under progressives, outranks the welfare of the individual. Remembering Hillary's book, It Takes a Village. Point. The eradication of religious freedoms, starting with Christians who are already facing persecution. Think Little Sisters of the Poor and Hobby Lobby. Point. The subjugation of free market capitalism to government control, higher taxes, and regulation destroying prosperity, jobs and wealth. This is her proclaimed plan. Point. A culture of death for the young, abortion, and the oldest, government health care forced cost reductions. Think total support for Planned Parenthood and single-payer health care. Point. The dismantling of the freedoms of speech, the press, and assembly. The rise of illiberalism with shaming, silencing, and demonization. Point. An open border immigration policy without assimilation leading to cultured chaos and disunity. Think 650,000 Muslim refugees, open borders, sanctuary cities, and non-enforcement of immigration laws. Point. The blatant and promised use of executive orders to bypass Congress and the courts, ignoring the Constitution and the rule of law. This is her spoken intention. Point. The weakening of our national security and armed services, leaving us vulnerable to China, Russia, Iran, and Islamists, and putting our forces at risk to unneeded casualties and military defeat. She hates the military. Point. The complete federal takeover of the healthcare system, destroying quality of healthcare and drug innovations. Her stated intention. Point. The unrestrained piling up of massive debt, increasing the size and power of the federal bureaucracy, leading to loss of freedoms, financial default, and economic collapse. Nothing is free. She only offers more federal programs and free this and free that. Point. The increased federal control over K-8 education, decreasing the quality of American education, denying educational choice, and restricting homeschooling. Think unwavering support of NEA and anti-school choice. Point. The continuation of a welfare system that has destroyed families and led to our urban ghettos. The election is not two bad choices. It is about saving America from progressives, socialists for the sake of our children and grandchildren. A vote for Hillary Clinton is a vote for an American hell on earth, traveling away from the land of the free, the brave, and the hope of the world. I am reminded of the scene from Planet of the Apes, where Charlton Heston sees the catastrophic destruction and says, "Oh my God, they did it." For me, my only choice is to vote for Trump-Pence. A vote for Clinton or a third-party candidate is a vote against America. What makes me so sure of the consequences of a Hillary Clinton presidency? It is because I see the same traits in Hillary Clinton as those that destroyed the rich and vibrant nation of Romania, using killing and lies as their weapons. Hillary's entire political life is filled with a list of endless lies and corruption. Likewise, many of her policies, such as abortion, infanticide, euthanasia, Margaret Sanger, her idol, and government control of health decisions, all leading to death. In addition, many of her foreign policy decisions have led to the deaths of hundreds of thousands in the Middle East. For most of the 20th century, the United States has been edging toward a progressive-style government versus a constitutional republic ordered by its founding documents. A mega shift has occurred since 2008. Today, the Democratic Party is a full-bred progressive party leading the country toward the stages below, while the other party feebly counters that movement. The forces against Trump-Pence are progressives, globalists on both sides of the political divide, and an entrenched political and business class that profits from a corrupt system and the class divisions they keep alive. If one wishes to clean out the sewer, which is our federal government, I believe that only one outsider candidate is up to that task. Here are the progressive stages of ruin. 1. Progressives are humanists, either godless or the purposeful movement of God from public policy, whose purpose is to create a better world, often known as utopia, a heaven on earth. Think, hope, and change. They promise people care, concern, equality, and justice. It is never delivered. 2. Their instrument for change is the government, also known as the state. 3. The state's control and interference in men's lives grows and grows, which always leads to economic and social failure. Democracy and freedom are crushed. 4. The state, never accepting their responsibility for failures, blames the people and increases regulations and financial incentives, punishments, creating more and more hardships. 5. The people rebel against the hardships, leading to the progressives to crush dissent, first by soft denials of freedom, and then by the force, imprisonments, and death. 6. The people either live, suffer under subjugation, or revolt, overthrowing the state. Rich Correll was born in Easton, Pennsylvania, and graduated from Pennsylvania State University with a BA in Labor Management Relations. He served 3 years in the U.S. Army's Corps of Engineers, primarily as a combat engineer commander. For 20 years, Rich worked for Bethlehem Steel Corporation. From 1986 to 1988, he served as Director of Evangelism and Discipleship at Sunshine Church. From 1988 to 1993, he served the John Guest Evangelistic Team as Executive Director, Director of International Ministry, and Director of Church Planting, directing church-wide evangelism in 20 cities in the United States, Russia, Romania, and Ukraine. At the same time, he served as chairman of West Michigan Prayer Ministries to mobilize Christians to pray for the renewal of the church and world evangelism. In 1993, Rich founded Church Planters Training International to train national church planters who have begun 1,989 churches in Ukraine and Russia. In 2016, the ministry focuses on 45 drug rehab homes, which are evolving into new churches. Rich is an enthusiast for jogging, biking, he once biked around Lake Michigan, and sailing.